Hi, today I'm going to do one of the looks that I did on Jessica Biel for the Cannes Film Festival, because I put some of the looks on my blog about a month ago with a list of the products I'd used, and so many of you requested this particular look. And you guys said that some of you are going to be brides and they really want to see how to do the look for their wedding or bridesmaids or prom or other special occasions. And I think it is one of those looks that's perfect for that type of thing because it works on so many different skin tones and different ages. So just sorry it's taken so long. It has been over a month since my last video because I've been completely chock-a-block with work and had loads and loads of shoots, and then I got quite sick last week. So with one thing and another, it's taken a while, but hopefully it was worth the wait. And this is just a classically fresh, beautiful, pretty look that is perfect for any special occasion. So I hope you like it. So for base, I'm going to start with Makeup Forever HD, and this is 115. This is a really nice foundation for any kind of special occasion where you're going to be photographed a lot. So it looks really good on camera, and it doesn't have any SPF, so it's a nice fine foundation. And as this is sort of special occasion makeup, I'm going to take a little bit down onto the neck and also the chest if you're wearing a particular dress that's maybe low at the front, and just to make sure all the skin is even. And I'm using this clean kabuki brush just to smooth everything. So next I'm going to use some Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector. This has been decanted into a small pot in my kit, and I've already applied one thin layer already, which you can see. So I'm just going to add another layer over the top. Very, very thin layers, and just pat all those edges. I'm using the foundation brush that I used, so there's a tiny bit of foundation left on it, but not much. So next I'm going to use blush, and I'm going to use cream blush this time, which is one of the new Chanel ones, which I've been using in my kit for the last couple of months, and they're really lovely. They're sort of like a cross between a traditional cream blush, a sort of creamy one like the Bobbi Brown ones, and more of a mousse texture, so it's got that sort of very light, almost fluffy feel to it, and they have quite a velvety finish, so they're not too shiny, so they're good for all different skin types as well. And they work perfectly well with fingers. You can just keep adding more. They're very easy to blend. Or if you want to, you can use a brush and just use it to smooth off those edges. So that just gives a really beautiful rosy glow, which this look definitely had. So on to eyes. I'm going to start by using the NARS Pro Prime. I'm going to use that all over Maya's lids before we put eyeshadow on. So I'm going to use the Rosy Nude palette by Dior, and this is what I used on Jessica, and I love this palette for brides, for red carpet, because it's got a really nice mix of plummy pink tones and sort of browny tones and warm tones, and I just think it suits so many different skin tones, and it's a really versatile palette. So I'm going to start by using this shade here, which is a kind of shimmery, sable-y, minky colour. Very, very pretty. I'm going to use that all over Maya's lids. Very, very light. You don't need to use much of these, actually. They're pretty pigmented. Then using the darkest shade from the palette, which is almost a sort of plummy shade, really. I'm going to start to use that at the outer corner. I have still got to do my concealer, but I'm going to do it after the eyes in case anything drops down. Although they're not too dark, so shouldn't do. Just really, really softly defining and shading. And every now and again, open your eyes, look straight ahead, and then you can sort of see where you need to bring it up to. You just want it to give shape to the eyes, so a little bit above the socket line there. But really pretty, really soft. So next, using a mixture of those two shades that I've just used on Maya's lid. Look up for me, Maya. I'm going to use a wash underneath, so got a real mixture of those two shades going on. And then at the outer corner I'm going to add a touch more of the darkest shade, so just bringing that bit extra there at the outer corner just to define. So next, using the rose pink shade in the palette, close your eyes for me. I'm just going to pat that in just at the more the inner corner, so you get a little hint of rose coming through there. And then the lightest colour, which is the highlighter. Very lightly, I don't want anything too shiny, but just as a wash really of the very, very palest shade up on the high point. And you could also, using either a small brush or a Q-tip, put a little bit of the rose pink. Look up for me, darling. In the corner, right there. So you can see this is really, really subtle, and that's the look we're going for. When it gets really bright here, it starts to look quite old-fashioned, I think. Just keep it really, really soft. Okay, so before we do anything else, we can now do concealer. And I'm going to start by doing under eyes. I'm using the Clinique airbrush. I'm going to use that with a brush. So if you look up for me, I'm just patting that on. If any of the brown had dropped down, you could use a Q-tip just to clean all the little drops away. In this case, we're absolutely fine. So on to main concealing, I'm going to use Secret Camouflage. And you may think this is a strange time to be concealing, but this is actually a really good time because the foundation has sunk in, everything's starting to sort of settle down, and you can really see where you need to conceal. You can use a pinpoint brush if it's just little tiny little spots and things. Maya's got really good skin. If you have areas that are bigger that you need to conceal, you can use a much fluffier, bigger brush, something like a 217, maybe around the chin for concealing, or if there's anything on the neck, any little spots or any marks. And if you have anything that's quite strong that needs concealing, maybe like some pigmentation or something, you could use something like a Vichy Dermablend or a Keramas concealer. So on to powder, and Maya has oily skin, so I'm actually going to use powder all over. Just a really light layer. I'm just going to sort of almost roll it and pat it into the skin and then buff it off. If your skin is dry, then you won't need it all over probably. Most people, I think, benefit from powder on the T-zone, whatever your skin tone is, just because it gives it a nice velvety look, and it's really good in photos. So that's a nice velvety look. And if you have got very oily skin, then you're likely to have to redo that every couple of hours just to keep your makeup looking great. So next I'm going to use waterproof gel liner, and this is mauve ink, which is a black mauve, sorry, it's a sort of plummy dark colour. Just really working that into the roots of the lashes, almost patting it in between. And I'm going to do it a lot thinner into the inner corner and then slightly thicker at the outer corner. And it's not a very winged eye look, but it's always nice just to lift the eyes slightly. So I'm going to just give that edge a little extension and just lift it slightly. So you can see from the front, it just elongates the eye. So onto lashes, and let's give them a really good curl. For lashes, I'm using the Giorgio Armani Eyes to Kill Waterproof. This is a great mascara for a wedding, I think. Long lasting, and I found it to be one of the best waterproof ones. There's lots of them that say they're waterproof, they really just aren't, which is kind of annoying. I'm going to apply some Liz Martin's lashes now. These are the nice bushy individual ones, which just add a lot more depth. I'm mainly going to use some short ones and a couple of mediums just at the outer edge. So I'm using the Duo glue, which is my favourite surgical glue. It looks white, but it dries clear. And then you just drop them on top of your natural lashes. And I've done lots of videos using these, and also a video all about how to apply them, so I'll link to that. So that's about 6 lashes on each eye. Just close for me. And then once they're dry, you can just touch the roots with a black liquid liner. This is a matte liquid liner, so it just helps to really blend them in. So I'm going to use the Suq powder palette for brows. This is good because it has a sort of taupey colour, greys and browns. Mix those together. I've slightly dampened the brush as well, just for getting the initial shape on. Just working that into the high point first. and then slightly extending here from the high point, working out. And then once the brush is a little bit drier, we can just fill in a little bit with some dry powder and just keep brushing so you get that really nice natural look to the brow, but it's still got the definition. So I'm using 8 Hour cream here with a cotton bud. Before we start using any lip products, I'm going to just smooth over and give those a little buff. So just rolling the cotton bud just helps to get rid of any loose skin and clean off the lips. And you don't want it to be too overloaded with product, so not just a little bit left on the lips, and that'll help to really slide the lip pencil. I'm using Bobbi Brown Pale Pink lip liner, so I'm going to use that all over the lips as a kind of stain, really working it in a nice thin layer. Then using the same lip liner, I'm just going to shape the lips as well. So I've gone all over the lip and now I'm using it to line, but really buffing that line in to the lip so we don't have any harsh edges anywhere. And to finish off, I'm going to use this nude, pinky nude lip colour all over the lips and just really pat that in so it looks nice and natural. And then if you wanted to, right at the end, we used the cream blusher and we've used our concealer and we've powdered and we've finished the skin. But if you wanted, you could go back in with a powder blusher, maybe something with a little bit of shimmer in, and just add a touch more over the top. And I find that really lasts a long time when you use a cream underneath, then you powder, and then you finish off with a little bit of powder over the top. Really helps to sort of seal those layers together. You get that lovely rosy glow. Actually, once I'd finished the look on Jessica, because she was wearing this beautiful silvery dress, I actually went in with a silver eyeshadow and just added a little bit of that silveriness to it, just because it sort of tied her dress in with everything. If I'm doing the exact look. So that's it, that's the finished look. You're all ready to go wherever, whichever special occasion you're going to.